To be clear, we're not going to make a collab on this episode.
Are you sure?
I mean,
I really want you to teach me how to upside down twerk on the wall.
that, you know what's funny is that I can't regular twerk, but I could do that.
You do it so well. I've admired you for that. And if you could teach me how to do that, I would really be indebted.
We'll do some lessons.
But I've never wall twerked.
Well, you may learn today. We're going to find out. We're going to mess around and find out.
I would love to wall twerk on your show.
Oh my God, that would be epic.
It would be a disaster.
I mean, it would be a beautiful disaster.
Okay.
Y'all. Okay. We are in the building at Bravery Studios.
It's so brave.
It's so brave, so courageous.
I feel very brave being here.
Well, you are brave.
I am brave for crossing the George Washington Bridge for sure.
Absolutely. She crossed the whole border to be here, y'all.
I rarely do this.
She crossed the whole border to be here with y'all, with me, with us, on another episode of Act Up with Alana J.
Yay!
Yay!
Applause, applause. Start clapping, everybody.
Rapturous applause, y'all. I already explained to the audience on the first episode, but just in case, I'm going to tell you, we acting up. Why are we acting up, Rachel La Loca?
Is this a rhetorical? Okay, that's what I thought.
It is a rhetorical. You see, you're such a good student.
Thank you.
Acting up. We acting up because I am an actor, comedian, teacher, like my guest today.
Tell them.
And what does ACT spell? It spells act. And why are we going up? Because that's what we do. We elevate day by day.
It's also a good mouthwash. You ever try Act mouthwash? It works pretty well.
It does work very well.
It's very swishy.
Yes, it is the best. So, a lot of fluoride. I think.
Fluoride is good. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's been mixed reviews.
Okay, we've got to take care of the enamel. That's the net.
For sure. And unfortunately, whitening your teeth takes off the enamel, which makes me sad because I want to whiten my teeth because I drink too much coffee. But that's neither here nor there.
We could talk about it, but we shouldn't. But yeah, Crest white strips also tend to do the trick. And also the Target, the generic brand of Crest white strips, I co-sign.
Okay. Good to know because summer is like now and we're taking clothes off, but we're also flashing teeth. We're flashing teeth and we're flashing other stuff.
Don't come close though. I haven't done the white strips in a while. It's time.
I've never done them. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, they do weaken the teeth a little, so you don't want to
Make it sensitive.
Yeah, like you don't want to eat a
just
steak
like me
afterwards.
Well, I don't eat steak, so.
Oh, okay, then you're good.
Wings and fins, that's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you
picky.
pescatarian?
I guess. I'm pesca chica. I'm pollo pesca something or another.
So you still foul. You still mess with the foul.
I do mess with the foul, but I try not to be foul, but I do mess with the foul.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? If you catch me on the wrong day, I might get a little foul, but you know, that's usually just PMS.
I love talking to you so much.
I love talking to you.
I just want to state that for the record. Okay.
Y'all, I'm like clearly so super excited to be here because we just started talking. We didn't even give an introduction.
Nothing.
But you need.
I'm gonna fall back.
Need.
It's not my show.
Rachel La Loca needs an introduction.
Okay, then I will fall back and listen.
She needs an introduction. Okay, why does she need an introduction? Because she has a multi-award-winning podcast. You may have heard of it before. Latinos Out Loud. All right? LOL in the building because she is also a marketing genius.
Oh, gosh.
Okay? All right? She is an actress, a comedienne, a producer. She is the creator and producer of the HERlarious Show.
That is
all
true.
right? A monthly show, which, you know, I be in sometimes. You know, you might see me.
Yes.
You might see me at the pit, you know, with my pit stains.
Co-produced the last show.
Yes.
Okay.
Which was an honor.
So much fun.
We're still not done with the introduction. The introduction is still going. She is a sketch writer, a screenwriter, and a mom of two incredible little
that
beings.
I know of.
That she knows of. I don't know. Y'all could be out there in them streets. I don't know.
I ain't claiming y'all though, cause no.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's none of those in here. Boys and girls, it's Rachel La Loca.
Wow, I'm really amazed at that introduction, and I really didn't mind it. We could do it again if you want to. It feels good.
Let's loop it. We're gonna loop that introduction. That should be what you play at night before you go to bed, so you're reminded of how incredible and amazing you are.
Oh, Alana J, you're my sister.
You're my sister. You've played my mother, but you're my sister.
I've played your mother. That is true.
You did. You played my mother once as Jesus, but once in a web series.
Yo, everybody who's casting me as mothers of grown-ass adults, fall back, all right? Because, I'm not that old.
Listen,
okay?
that is I remember that is specifically why I was like, I want to ask Rachel, but I don't want to ask Rachel because we're like 8 years apart, and that is just a stereotype that I don't want to perpetuate in Hollywood. You know what I mean? But you were the best for the role, so
thank you. I didn't mind it, and it was fun. This was on Too Grown, the show that you wrote and produced and got on BET. Okay, so giving you the kudos right back.
Thank you, babe.
Take it, embrace it.
Thank you so much.
What an experience shooting for BET. Never in my life. Thank you so much for that opportunity.
Thank you for being a part of it. It was amazing.
It was fun.
It was a blast.
It was fun. We got to the dynamic that we have really can take so many iterations, and playing your mom for that show, it did feel right. Maybe it didn't look right in my head, but I'm like, no, I could pull this off. And then I did the math too. I'm like, okay, so I had her young, which a lot of people do.
8 years old. That's how young. Started early, a little too early, but 8-year-olds don't do that.
Started in elementary school. Now we're here. Okay.
On BET. On the small screen.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was amazing. It was amazing. So we got to talk about you, okay?
Okay.
We got to talk about you and all the things that you do. So another title, bars, you already know. Another title that you have recently added to your resume is Professor Loca.
Oh my God, la profesora, that's right.
Listen, as I had mentioned, her very successful multi-award winning podcast, that got Rachel the opportunity to teach a podcasting course at her alma mater.
Brooklyn College in the building. Okay, go Brooklyn Bulldogs. Okay.
Yo, so, pero what was that like? Talk about it. Because also, as I mentioned that I'm a teacher, but as are you in your own right. We've both had this experience teaching undergraduate students. I don't know about you, but I had hella imposter syndrome. But tell us about what that's been like for you.
It's been really wonderful, therapeutic, and also educational. I'm not only sharing education, but I'm also gaining the knowledge myself. There's so many things I can say. First of all, I'll take it back to how it happened. Please tell
us what happened.
I was delivering a keynote address at a commencement for Brooklyn College. Okay. And on the dais was the president of the school, shout out to Michelle Anderson, and the head of the TV, radio, and emerging media department, shout out to MJ Robinson. And I delivered my keynote, which was very much filled with Notorious B.I.G. quotes.
Love it.
The students were into it. A lot of yours.
Hell
So I
yeah.
was like, okay, it was a different kind of commencement address, I realized.
Yeah.
But I got it okayed. I sent it to the head of the department first. I'm like, is this okay to say? Anyway. And then we went to a little cocktail reception afterwards. And the president of the school was like, you should teach podcasting. I'm like, is this a job offer right now?
Yes. Get a job offer at a cocktail party. We like that. We like that multitasking.
You never know who's listening, and that is point in fact. I didn't know that delivering this commencement address would get me a job. I did it for a small stipend, but I did it because...
That's nice. Get a little coin. Clap it up for a little coin. A little coin.
Cheese. Okay, come
Listen.
on, girl. Yeah.
Listen, we're trying to get paid to speak, so we like that. Yeah.
Guapito. So afterwards, she sort of said, MJ, do what you got to do. And so then that progressed, that evolved. And she's like, we do have an advanced radio and podcasting course coming up in the spring, which was close to a year after the commencement. So I'm like, great. So I took the time to find a textbook, which I just take, snippets from. Because the thing is, this is such an ever-changing medium, podcasting, that there aren't a ton of textbooks on it.
Okay. So you found an academic textbook on podcasting. You were able to find that, and
there were I found 10 of them with the help of MJ, the head of the department.
Okay.
And but each of them had a different focus. It was either how to start a podcast or journalism and podcasting. Very niche and carve outs of podcasting. Not really a textbook for advanced radio and podcasting per se. But in my head, I was like, I appreciated when my teachers would get sort of printouts and pamphlets and like articles that help supplement the textbook.
Right.
So that's what I did for this course. So I formulated the whole curriculum. Working on the syllabus was just like such a thing. It took so long.
I bet you, was it like very exhausting but also fulfilling?
Absolutely. You got it. Hit the nail on the head. Like it was
Nailed it.
so exhausting, but you know, doing it, that's the foundation of the course right there.
Right.
That and the course schedule. So once that was done, I was like, okay, the hard part is over. But the course has been so fulfilling, and I'm having to like research, find statistics to share. I open every class with something called TWIP, This Week in Podcasting.
Ooh, I love that. Look at the marketing genius over here.
And
Little
also, I'm obsessed with acronyms.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, it's time for TWIP, everybody.
Well, because they're memorable, right?
Yeah.
That just speaks to your marketing genius. Like,
Thanks.
it's memorable. You know, people are not going to forget a little TWIP.
And also, these students need to be armed with what's happening in this ever-changing marketplace, in this world, that every week there's something else, some new acquisition, or another way that downloads are measured, you know, or how advertising is being sold, which is changing as we speak. Used to be based on a cost per thousand model. Now it's being sold more on like a package, you know, sponsorship model.
Ooh, I'm in class right now with Profesora Loca. Yes, talk about it.
There's just so much to share about this medium. People think, or like some people may think, it's just turning on the mics and doing your show and having your content bleed. But no, there's like, for the podcaster right now, it's really hard to make money in this medium. Like, it has been proven that like if you sell on a CPM model, you'd have to sell like Joe Rogan numbers in order to like be able to make this a sustainable business for yourself. You have to pay an editor. We have to market the content. We have to pay for studio space. There's so much that goes into it. Clothes to wear if you're on camera, a camera.
I got to invest in those myself.
An SD card, like all of this stuff. And there's much more that I'm not talking about right now. But in order to make money off of that, you got to be pulling in bank. And right now, the marketplace, like advertising, is not pulling in bank right now across the board, even for the big guys.
But there's just also just such an oversaturation. I mean, how many freaking podcasts are millions on millions on millions? So
of podcasts right now. But yeah, so the course has been very informative, not only for the students, but for me. So the framework of the course is so cool. Like, I'm not just saying that because I'm a teacher, but like there's no tests, you know, no multiple choice, no open-ended, no grading. But basically their midterm was to put together a trailer and a show Bible for their podcast. So each student has their own podcast.
Amazing.
And then the final.
So they're actually producing these podcasts.
At the end of this course, they're going to have a fully marketable and packaged podcast.
Wow. And
they're seniors, so they're ready for the real world.
They're all seniors?
They're all seniors.
I love that.
Actually, if I may flex real quick, I have one student that graduated last year that just came back to take my class.
What?
So this is not even like for her to matriculate. This is just her for an extra course. She's already got her bachelor's of science.
Wow. So was she a fan of the show or something? Like how?
She wants to start a podcast, and she saw this course open up, and she saw that I was teaching it. She came to the live show back in December that I did with Gina Brillon and Radel Ortiz.
Shout out.
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm going to take your class next semester, even though I've already graduated. I'm like, okay.
That is amazing. Can we get some claps? Can we get some claps?
Yeah.
Rachel took a student out of retirement. Right out of retirement, put her right back in the classroom. Take a seat. Toma.
Shout
all
out
this.
to Alex. She's doing really well. So their podcast, Alana J, I'm not even saying this, like, they're amazing.
I bet. I mean, look who taught them.
But they, like, I sent out an email to the class before the first day of classes, and I was like, come equipped with your concept. That's what we're going to talk about.
Before class even started.
Before class even started, you needed to define your concept. Didn't have to be fully fleshed out just yet, but they came with it. And I'm talking like sports podcasts about, like, you know, what gambling is doing to sports right now. There's one podcast about like the mythological creatures of Honduras, you know, like very niche.
Lit.
There's another one that
I love learning about ghosts.
She's an athlete at Brooklyn College, and like a big athlete, and she's doing mental health in the athletic community across colleges and universities, which is huge.
Yes, we don't really hear enough about that. at all.
It's amazing. There's one about like the sports that don't get a lot of burn. Like we often hear about the top 4 like sports and stuff, but like this is taking a deep dive into like bowling and like you know the stuff like like tennis.
I love knocking out some pins. I love that. Yes.
I love watching bowling. I don't know why. It's like fun to watch how that thing like curves and they hit strikes. It's like so much fun to watch.
I like doing it probably more than I like watching it. It feels good. Like, yo, after you go bowling, you don't realize how much exercise you got while doing it. Like my core be tight. My core be like I just did some sit-ups. My forearm be all big and swole.
I don't know if you know this, but yo, you talking to the only former tomboy who was part of the Rainbow Lanes Junior Bombers. Okay, I was on a league.
Oh
Nobody
my God.
knows this.
You were on a bowling league.
I was on a bowling league as
Brooklyn?
a youth. Yes, in Brooklyn. Rainbow Lanes in Sheepshead Bay, which is no longer.
Okay, R.I.P. Rainbow Lanes. Wow, I had no idea. That's amazing.
I was also on a softball league. Like I was a pitcher and I
could
played
see that for
second
you.
base.
I could totally see you playing softball. I don't know why. I could see a little Loca running around them bases, you know, throwing balls.
I was into it, bro.
Maybe cursing some people out.
We need a pitcher, not a belly itcher. All of that.
Good one.
Yeah, we need a catcher, not a belly scratcher. All of it.
So this is not your first time teaching, correct?
No, correct. So before I took this dive into comedy full time, I was a marketer. And so I was teaching multicultural marketing for 4 years at Brooklyn College, but under a different department.
For 4 years? I didn't realize you did it for that long.
Yeah, for 4 years, girl.
Was that every semester?
Every semester
for the 4 years?
Section.
Okay.
One section. And it was multicultural marketing. I taught it on Saturdays. It then became hybrid.
You had people come into class on Saturdays?
On Saturday, girl.
That's how good you were.
I mean,
people signed up and showed up.
How
was attendance? People were there. People was in there.
Yeah,
was they hungover?
Listen,
I know I would have been hungover if I was in college on a Saturday.
It was a slow start. Yup, I had to do a lot of hello, you know, like a lot of loud talking, you know, to make my point and to also wake people up. But it was a good course. Again, like it started off slow, but different. Like it was different in that it was a prerequisite for more business courses. So I had a lot of those students that I asked them the first day, I'm like, why are you here? And it's like, because I need to be, because I need to take this prerequisite before I could take business management. I was like, oh. But then by like the second or third class, I could tell they were there because they wanted to be. Like they were into it. Because again, it's another course that's like, there's not a ton of textbooks or written down knowledge and information on multicultural marketing. There are still Fortune 500 companies that don't invest in the multicultural segments. And so to this date,
they missing out.
There are so many brands that
they are missing out on the Latino market.
They take this total market approach where they think that they're reaching us. But if it's one thing that to know about the Latino segment is we are probably the most brand loyal.
Yes.
And we're also the most like,
I mean, look at the Fast and the Furious, okay?
Yeah.
I feel like it was always full of Latinos in them seats.
We over-index with that franchise. Like there's information out there about the Fast and Furious, so much so that the movie studios shot the film in Dominican Republic and made that like, you know, part of the marketing.
Of the art. Yeah.
Aside from the fact that there are Latinos involved and like, you know, Tego and Michelle Rodriguez.
Yes.
But it was an interesting coursework to also share because it was based on case studies. Like I didn't really have a lot of like, you know,
textbooks or
like, you know, precedents to share with them. So I brought in guest speakers, and I also bring in guest speakers into this class as well, which they love. And I love too.
Who have you brought in for the podcasting class?
Okay, I've brought in someone from Heartbeat, you know, shout out to Imelda.
And Heartbeat is Kevin Hart's.
Yeah, and he's got the LOL podcast network.
Just so the people know. Yeah, just in case they don't. They should.
Shout out to Bryant Pino from Sirius XM. He came in. Shout out to Chiclet HF. You know, he came in to talk about his podcast, Chiclet and Maleni.
He's a big influencer. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Shout out.
Yeah, there's just been so many. We have Eric Galindo coming in. Eric is the creator of Idolo, The Ballad of Chalino Sanchez, and Wild seasons 1 and 2, which are also multiple award-winning podcasts.
That's dope. Yeah. That is so dope. I want to take your class. Can I come like audit?
Okay, it's funny you say that. Yes, come and audit.
I want to come audit.
Audit sounds scary. Like
it does. It sounds like you're about to get your house taken away from you by the IRS. But
all my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed, so come audit away. Okay?
Yes. No. And academia audit is a good thing.
Yes. Okay, it's funny you say that because right now, like, I'm in development for this master class. Let's just call it that for now, because I do feel a class like
a
this,
video.
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Let's talk offline, but I do feel like something like this needs to exist outside of Brooklyn College. I cannot tell you how many people slide in the DM and hit me up like, yo, can I ask you about mics? Can I ask you about this? Like the basics, you know?
Right.
Can I ask you how you do this? And I'm like, I want to share this information, but mama ain't got all this time
to respond to all these DMs.
And I want to help everybody.
Yeah.
I really, truly do. So I'm thinking of packaging it in a way where it's digestible and like people can access it whenever they want.
I love that.
What do you
Please,
think?
I think that that's an amazing idea. And if you need any help with anything, you know I'm a fan of writing emails. If you need help with some email blasts to blast this course off into the stratosphere, thank you so much. I got your back, and absolutely, because you're right. You know, and for me too, like when as you know, I got my master's of fine arts in acting.
Flex, tell them.
And like while I was in class, that was my first time learning acting in an academic setting, right? Like all of my acting education was through private studios up until this point. Like I went to Stella Adler's studio first. You know, I also did a UCB, which is not, that's not like classical acting, you know, but.
So we're fellow UCB alums.
We are fellow UCB alums. That's the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, for those that don't know. Diversity scholarship recipient.
You too?
Yep.
Oh my
gosh. 2 times.
Sisters.
We are sisters from
what the heck?
Different misters. No, literally like, and also.
Are you sure my dad's not your dad?
Who knows?
Okay.
It's possible. Anything's possible. I believe none of what I hear and a third of what I see in 2024. Truly. But Exactly. Who's your daddy? I don't know. But just for the audience, literally like, Rachel has had the opportunity to interview a lot of her sheroes, her comedy heroines, and you are one of mine. You know, like before.
Don't make me cry, Alana J.
Before I ever got on stage doing comedy, whether it's stand up, whether it's sketch, anything like that, I was following Rachel La Loca and Room 28, and which is, shout out to Room 28 comedy troupe, which Rachel used to do a whole bunch of sketch comedy for. I was following y'all, you know, I was creeping, I was stalking.
Remember how we met?
You know, well, before we met, I passed you in the street. You were pushing Benjamin in a stroller. I'm sorry, Donovan.
My
yes,
firstborn,
your firstborn.
In the stroller.
You were pushing Donovan in a stroller, and it was raining. You had an umbrella too. I'm like, wow, she's amazing. She could hold an umbrella and push a baby.
With my chin. I was holding the umbrella with my chin and pushing the stroller in Midtown Manhattan. We had just come from a casting call because he was doing acting when he was a baby.
He was doing acting from the stroller?
Why? I mean, I had to. It was like my firstborn. And I was like, we're going to be a showbiz family.
I had no idea that's where you were coming from.
Yes, it was a casting call, which he did book, by the way, for Carter's.
Okay.
Yeah, he did
little
some
Carter,
stuff.
Little Carter coin, a little Carter's coins. Okay, Donovan, getting your Carter's coins.
In his USTA account. Okay, I'm not trying to be that kind of momager. I'm by the books. He got his USTA account, and it's just sitting in there for him for college.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That is how you momage. Okay, for all you momagers, that is how you momage. You put it away. Let it collect interest. Okay.
I didn't even take my commission. I was like, no, just take the whole thing. It's okay because momagers can technically get 10 to 15% commission. Yeah. But I was like, no, just put it all in the account. This is for college, baby boy.
Looking out. See, you looking out. Looking out. I love that.
The account right now can afford maybe a community college. Because listen, I didn't have time for everything.
Listen, by the time Donovan is of college age, college might be obsolete, and he could just be going to YouTube University and making a killing. Who knows?
No.
Who knows?
No, my children need to go to school.
Okay, I take that back.
No, college is so important.
Donovan, go to college. I take that back. Not YouTube University. Go to a real university. Okay.
You could supplement your college, education with YouTube, but please, dear Lord, unless YouTube is an established like Ivy League institution at that time.
Accredited.
Who knows?
4-year institution of learning.
Can you imagine if YouTube University comes out?
I can imagine. That's the thing.
So can I.
I can 1,000% imagine. They're probably working on it right now.
Oh my gosh.
It would be wild, but also very believable.
Word.
Or Google University, whichever. Google University, YouTube University. They're the same now, right? Google and YouTube. I don't know. I got to read the news. Okay.
So we met pushing the stroller.
Yeah, well, yeah, we didn't meet because I was too scared. I was too scared to talk to you.
Oh my gosh, really?
But like we made eye contact. And you smiled at me, and I believe I smiled back. And also, so many tangents that are happening right now. But I just want to say, Rachel is also like one of the. Doesn't matter what is going on in her life. It does not matter what is going on in her life. She is always one of the most positive people. You're one of the most positive people that I know. And I'm just really honored to have you in my corner. I called her crying the other day. I was like, oh, I can't believe that I'm crying right now. And I just think of Rachel. And like, what would Rachel do? You know, you'd be asking, what would Jesus do? I ask, what would Rachel do? Okay. That is how I live my life. I should get a tattoo. WWRD. What would Rachel do? That sounds like that actually sounds like a station, or that would be WWRD.
Sounds like a good podcast.
We're reporting live from WWRD Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. Anyway, I'm dumb. I don't know. It's fine.
You're not. Don't ever say that. That's my friend you're talking about.
You're right.
Okay.
Why am I talking to myself like that?
I don't know.
Man, don't do that.
Not
Be
feeling
nice.
it.
Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. So I love you. All that aside,
I love you so much. I mean,
okay.
I would stop the world and melt with you. And I know I just quoted a song from the 80s, but I really mean it.
Was that a lyric? I was going to give you credit. You shouldn't have said that. I would have believed it was you.
I'll stop the world and melt with you.
Oh, that's why I couldn't. That's why I didn't remember it, because the accent. And once you said it with the accent, I knew exactly. I've heard it before. I don't know where it's from.
But I meant that, like, not just because it's a great lyric. Like, I would stop anything to be there for you.
Likewise.
I am like a ride or die fan of yours.
Likewise.
Like, not only a friend fan, but a fan of everything you're doing. Your talent is so immense and incredible. And I learn and I gain from it.
I gained from you so much. Okay, and now this is a great way to get back on subject, on task. This is a great way to get back on task, because I do want to talk to you about, obviously, I know, your roots with comedy are mostly sketch, right?
Yeah.
And then you developed and are the producer of the HERlarious Show. So tell me a little bit about that transition from performing into producing. Did it all happen at once? Talk to us about that journey, because it is very different just being a performer in a show and putting the whole friggin' thing together.
Yeah.
It's very different.
That's a great point. So when I was coming up, I did a lot of different shows, Sketch Cram, old school sketch show, just making appearances in other people's productions. Because that's what you do.
Right.
When you're on the come up and you're in schools like UCB and people learn about you.
Can we tell them what those shows are? Because Old School Sketch Show, that's a show that happens at the People's Improv Theater as well.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about it, if you want to elaborate.
It's like one of the longest running shows ever. An Old School Sketch Show, it's very much like the Saturday Night Live model where, the writer's room and then it's cast and then it's done, but all in 7 days.
All in 7 days. And now Sketch Cram.
That was like
that
the
is
ultimate test. What? Like, I've done it a few times. Shout out to Georgie Aldaco, who's now a TV writer, a very successful. She's been a guest on Latinos Out Loud.
No surprises there. She is so talented. Oh my gosh.
So talented, Latina from Texas. And so she developed Sketch Cram, which is a 24-hour sketch show. So the writers are brought in at 9 a.m. and they write until about 1 p.m. Then the actors are brought in at 1 and they have to learn all the sketches for a 60-minute sketch show from 1 p.m. to midnight. The show goes up at midnight. And you're cramming behind the curtain. Like, before the curtain goes up, you're like, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Scripts down. Let's go.
Okay. For that, what did you find to be the most difficult component of that?
Okay. I've done it a few times. It's the stress of knowing that you're going to have a full audience at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater at midnight, and you may have to wing it. I'm not the best at winging stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I will wing if I have to wing on the wings of love. You know what I mean? 2, 3, 4. But like, I will if I have to.
Yeah.
But like, I like to prepare as best possible. We run lines in HERlarious, but we're also like rehearsing for weeks.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference. But I will say, like with sketch, if you know the sketch math, that's the basis for sketch cram. There are certain beats that you know have to flow, bars.
Certain jokes that you have to hit.
Yeah, you kind of know when they come in sketch. You know who your straight man is.
Rhythm.
You know the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? The rhythm's gonna get you, or it's not.
Or it's not.
And so like that.
But
if
I hope
you
it
have
does.
that structure in your head, then you kind of have to remember, okay, wait, the joke was kind of like this, and then it just kind of comes out, you know? But also the biggest challenge for me there was like any artist or any painter, you don't want to mess up their work of art. Like I really didn't want to insult the writers by not hitting their lines that they wrote. So although you can improv your way through something that may be foggy, you know, like a line that doesn't come right away, like I really didn't want to do that. Like these writers took the time, they crammed, so I have to show them that respect and deliver on what they did earlier in the day.
1,000%. That would probably be my biggest fear as well. Because I never had the opportunity to do a sketch cram. I mean, in grad school was kind of like a series of crams. I literally like had to pull full-on performances out of my booty day of, morning of, 5 minutes before. Or sleep. So I always chose sleep. You know what I mean? When there was an option to sleep, I'm going to take the option to sleep because I'm going to be useless if I don't. But for me, I would probably think that like committing to all, like having to create all of those characters, because I went and I saw Rachel do sketch cram. That was the only time. That was the only time I ever went to sketch cram, was when you were in it.
Oh my God! Which one? Do you remember any of the sketches? Was it with Carmen? Because I did one with Carmen.
You were doing a lot of accents. I remember you were doing a lot of accents, and you were talking about Wellbutrin, and I'm on Wellbutrin over and over and over again. And I think that was the first time I was like, wow, damn, Rachel could do a lot of accents. Like, it was very impressive. I think you did a bodega accent. I don't know. Maybe.
I do remember that show, and the writers called me. I was still sleeping. They're like, what accents can you do? And I was like, well, I could see British. I just went off.
You did a British Bake Off. There was a British Bake Off joke.
British Bake Off. Oh my God.
Yep.
I love that sketch. I was the host of the British Bake Off.
Yes, you were.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was so fun. Yeah, and I did like, the Latina thing. Like, hello, you think I'm stupid? Like that.
There may have been some Rosanna Santana energy there.
I told them I could do Jamaican for Guan, big things of Guan. Like,
yes,
more
you did
fire. Lot of mercy. Tell me say one thing, Nancy, can't understand. But I just kind of went off. I shot off like all the accents that I can do.
Yes.
Which, God, they're a little rusty at this point. They've been sitting in like my Carrot Top box for a while.
I mean, that's the thing with accents. Like, you bring them out, you work on them a little bit, like you need a phrase to get you into it. And
Coño, now the world is so sensitive that we can't even like do a lot of the accents that we did back then too. Because it's like, oh, am I like violating right now? I don't want to violate.
It is a tricky, it's a slippery slope. It is definitely a slippery slope, because it's like, especially if you're not already like Dave Chappelle, or if you're not already one of these massive comedian stars, it's like, it's hard to really figure out what you can and can't get away with, because a lot of the people that are already big were established by being a little offensive. You know what I mean? Like, that's what people know them to be. Yeah, me too.
So your question about producing and the transition, if we can like go back.
We can.
I'm so proud of myself for being able to go back, by the way. Usually I'm like, what was the question again? Anyway.
I believe.
So the transition, okay, as I was doing these shows, I felt a void. I'm like, oh, this is so male dominated. Doing all the sketch comedy shows when I was taking the classes at UCB and like on the come up and stuff. And even with Room 28, like there were only 2 girls like at a time, sometimes 3, like I'm like, we're still outnumbered here. And I started to feel this void, this like, it started to snowball actually. Like first it was like, where are the ladies at? And I'm like, okay, I'll just represent for us, and do what I got to do. And then as the years went on, I was like, building the courage. I was like, I got to start something. I got to do something about this. Something has to be done. Like we're out here with our bold and strong voices, but we need to collect. We need to unify. And also I saw this gap forming as a student of UCB, but also doing pit shows and going to the Magnet Theater and being friends with the Instagram girls and the sketch girls. I'm like, why are we not all working together? Because I'll tell you, the stigma was, oh, Instagram girls can't work on stage and sketch girls can't work with stand-up comedians and vice versa. I'm like, I'm going to debunk that myth, maybe not real quick, but I'm going to start to debunk that by putting together a show where we can all live together as a variety show. So HERlarious was born in November 2018. And I'm like, I'm going to take you and you and you and you. And people thought I was crazy. They're like, you're merging worlds that don't merge.
That don't belong together.
In New York City, nobody does this. And I was like, okay, I'm going to derail comedy. And HERlarious was first called Comedy Derailed.
Yup.
And that's why the name came from that. And that's why the first flyer was the train map of New York City.
Yeah,
Because I bridged the
flyer.
5 boroughs, because I had girls from each of the boroughs, and we derailed comedy for the
Yes.
first time ever. And that name kind of stuck for like the first 2 shows.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, this is HERlarious.
Yeah.
This is bigger than just the MTA and like the 5 boroughs.
This is bigger than a map, all right?
Yeah.
This is all of her.
And hopefully
Her university.
And I wanted it to have that nationwide sort of appeal, you know, and now we're in development for something nationwide. And we actually were in the Toronto Sketch Festival. So we are technically international. So, and then we had the 10-episode deal on Rizzle TV. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
We created 10 short form episodes, which are still out there and got us a lot of traction.
Yes.
And that came about because the former artistic director of UCB went on to start the app. And he was like, yo, can you bring your comedy Derailed girls to Rizzle? And I was like, sure.
I love that. So y'all, if you're not familiar with Rizzle, Rizzle is a TikTok-esque app. But better, because we on it.
And it's all comedy. It's so great.
Is it all comedy?
It's all comedy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's so great.
So if it makes sense why we found for Rizzle home on Rizzle. I love that.
And
I love that.
HERlarious has a home for live stuff, but we need a bigger home. We need a bigger
content.
casa, you know?
For
And
content or in general?
we deserve a home like Black Girl Sketch Show or Black Lady Sketch Show, like something like that, you know? We're there. You guys, and I say you guys, like it's bigger than me. I'm blown away by the talent that HERlarious attracts. And
You
also,
and me both, sis.
this institution that we've created where we're reaching out our hands and bringing up the ones on the come up and showing them, like, you are an OG at this point.
I am an OG.
And you are teaching the younger ones how to mess with this, how to do
Yes.
this. And that speaks volumes. We're basically creating the pipeline for future female comedians.
Hell yeah, we need a round of applause for that. He already knew what to do because he knew how true that was.
It's so real time. It's so great.
I love it. I love it so much. Yo, and yeah, if you haven't been able to come out to a HERlarious show, the next one is
June 15th.
June 15th at the People's Improv Theater. For the rest of the programming for the HERlarious calendar, go to thepitnyc.com.
It's up there.
It's up there. Buy your tickets now. Buy your tickets early because we will sell out. Okay? Because that's what we do. We sell out. That's what we do. Love it.
I love it too.
And I have to just thank you also again for bringing me on to be a part of Comedy Derailed. And now HERlarious, because that was some of the first comedy I ever performed on stage. You know, like for me, I was an actor first. I started through acting, and I was always comedy curious.
I love that.
Com curious. That's a stupid word, but I'm gonna use
No,
it.
it's not. Stop talking about my friend like that. I'm serious.
Okay, let me stop. She be acting up.
It's okay, but I'm going to tell her how it be. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's why I love you.
I love you.
Like, for me, you know, I got so much more confidence, as I better have, coming out of this degree, getting my master's. Like, before, you know, I was a little confident before. But now, you know, I am standing in my abilities and standing in my convictions.
Yes.
And the fact that I have the opportunity to show up to the legendary People's Improv Theater, okay? And be a part of HERlarious, and that's available to me every month. Like, it's literally a dream come true. Like, I had to remind myself the other day, as I was, you know, dipping my toes in a little Oh, there's a little self-pity puddle. Oh, I
hate
feel
those
bad.
puddles. They creep up on you.
Oh, they do. They creep up on you. They get your socks wet. It's not cute.
It's not cute. It's not a
socks
good
wet,
feeling.
smelly feet, wrinkly feet, soggy feet. Nobody likes no soggy toes.
Cicote comes out of
you
it.
can't
You're
sell
like,
pictures.
ugh.
You can't sell pictures
Pity
of soggy.
cicote sucks.
It's nasty, you know?
Stinks.
So I had to remind myself, like, oh, wait, I am literally living my dreams. I am regularly performing at legendary venues in New York City.
Yes, you are.
I'm part of a monthly group of women. That's shout out to women in comedy, period. Shout out to women in comedy, period.
P power.
Because hell yeah, power to the V, power to the all of that. Power to I'm not gonna say I don't like the P word. I like twat better than the P word. I know you don't like twat.
See, I don't
you don't
like-
like twat. I know you don't like twat.
It's like, yeah, I will say pussy any day.
Yeah, I don't like
over.
pussy.
Okay, what are we doing to each other right now?
I know.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
It's okay though. We have to challenge each other.
A little sibling rivalry.
Right.
Anyway, what were we talking about before I started talking about pussy and
that
twats?
you are performing in a legendary venue, and shout out to all the women in comedy.
Yes.
And you're living your dream.
I think that's all I really wanted to say. Like you have been a catalyst for me.
Oh, I love being
doing
a
that.
catalyst.
You know, hell yeah! Shout out to chemistry or whatever, biology, whatever science we learned about.
Chemistry, but catalysts.
I think
are
you're
like
right.
Important.
I think you're right. I'm tired.
It's okay. Stop. Like, there's no need to make excuses. You are doing so much.
Excuses are the tools of the weak and the incompetent. Those who use them.
Okay.
Those who use them. I forgot. There's a slogan about excuses. Anyway, I love you. Thank you for that. I love you. Mean it. Ding 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 ding. Oh,
They're
the sign
so
is not
good.
there. The sign is not there.
They're so good with the sound effects. I can't even. I'm so
Yes.
amazed
I love
by the timing of the
I love
sound
it so
effects
much.
from the booth.
I know he is. He is a master at work. He is a master at work.
Shout out to Marv.
Shout out to Marv all day, every day. Pero
So you're welcome. You were thanking me yet again.
Yeah,
and
yet
you
again.
don't need to thank me.
this whole episode is just going to be a series of love fests.
And that's fine, because I
And-
have a lot to thank you
and gratitude
for as well.
and all of that. But yeah, that's just
All the support.
I just want to
friendship.
remind everybody, you know, like sometimes you gotta you don't know how good you have it. Sometimes you just don't know how good you have it. And I literally right now, like the fact that comedy is the only thing that's really going great in my life, that's a blessing. That is a blessing, you know? And once again, I have HERlarious to thank for a huge part of that. A huge part of that.
I love hearing this, not because of being the HERlarious girl, right? Like, but I am so thankful that it has become that. Like this place, this powerful place where women are working together and talk about debunking myths. Another one is that, oh, women can't work together because they're catty and all of that.
Yes.
As if, because
Whatever.
right? Like, because we work so well together, so much so that there are hilarious bonds beyond HERlarious.
Hell yeah.
When I see women working together, like Glory and Sasha, they met through HERlarious.
Yes.
Glory's first stand-up performance
Was Comedy Derailed.
Comedy Derailed.
Yep.
And she tells me this all the time. She's like, yeah, I wasn't really feeling myself. I was like, and I basically pushed her. I was like, get out there.
Yup.
You know what I mean? I'm not
And that's
trying
what
to-
you do, Rachel. Because a lot of times too, and a lot of people have told me this before about myself, like, yo, I feel like other people believe in you sometimes more than you do.
We need
and
those
I'm like,
people. I
we
need
do
those
need those
people
people
around me.
We do need those people because it's not really a bad thing if you know that about yourself. Like you just have to like manage it, and you know, yo. Literally before, not so much sketch or acting, but before every stand-up set I do, I have a little anxiety attack. Just a little bit.
So do I.
Just a little bit.
I forget my lines. You've seen me.
Yo,
I'm like, I don't know my lines. I can't go out there.
And
I'm going to mess up the show.
And that's why I'm saying for you to say that you're not good at winging it. I've been in the trenches with you while you were winging it. You know what I mean? But that's how you know we're just so present. That's the professionalism at work. You know what I mean? That's the professionalism at work. Because you better believe that even the most famous artists still have self-doubt. You know what I mean? You better believe it. It's a part.
Human.
It's human. It comes with the territory. It comes with the craft, especially when you're doing something that is so personal and so subjective. You know what I mean? But bringing it back for the 150th time, derailed. Pick it up, bounce back.
back on the scene, crispy and clean. You could try but no why, but you can't intervene. What am I doing?
I want Krispy Kreme. I know that's not what you said, but that's what I heard.
No, I cannot do donuts. No.
I'm nuts for donuts.
I love donuts.
I'm really not. I'm really
like,
not. I have an occasional crave. I don't know. It's probably the PMS. Anyway, so
I've been there.
Listen,
I was there last week. Okay.
Let's bring it back.
Sure.
Back. Because Rachel, you just have so much going on. Like we could literally be here for hours. We really could.
I have a few hours if you'd like, but I don't know if the listeners will. Like...
I may have to pee at some point, and that could be problematic. But we have an editor for that, so it's fine. So yes, I will say that I have had my most successful shows when it's all women involved in the process.
Tell them.
Literally,
tell them.
Behind the scenes, on the scene, on the stage. On the mic, like my best shows have always been the ones that are organized and executed by women. They just are. They just are. Actually, fun fact. I love
fun facts.
That is relevant. I was in London. I'm not going to do it. Thought about having a bottle of milk. Thought about having a bottle of milk.
Nooks and crannies, anyone?
Nooks and crannies. English muffins. They're very dry. But they're very self-aware muffins. Anyway, that's not the point. When I was in London, I learned they have a million bridges. A million bridges in London.
Oh yeah, London Bridge is falling down.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. We know the rhyme. We know the nursery,
Take
the lullaby.
The key and lock that bitch up.
Did you know that the only bridge in London that was built on time, actually ahead of schedule and under budget, the only bridge in London, and there's a lot of them.
Okay.
The only one built on time and under budget was the only one built by women.
What?
Yep.
Are you for real?
I swear. I did a River Thames cruise, and I was like, that makes so much sense. And that has to be the exact reason why every show that I do, just with women in comedy, is so amazing because of that bridge.
That is so symbolic.
That is, I'm bridging the gap between what I just said and the pond, and there's no gap between the pond.
And HERlarious is also a bridge.
It is.
Across these different schools and foundations of comedy.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Profound. I love that. I love it so
profound.
much. I love it so much. So you also right now have a film in circulation. Let's talk about that really quickly because we're gonna get to plugs and then we'll wrap it up in a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about the film that you have in circulation right now, The Swimmers. Tell us about that project and how that manifested itself.
Yeah, so I submitted to the National Hispanic Media Coalition's Writers Showcase. Actually, I submitted to several incubator programs by the NHMC, and I finally got in. Over the pandemic, I got into the Latinx Stream Writers Showcase. Where they selected 7 projects, 7 short films, and fully produced them in Hollywood with like Hollywood directors, actors.
That's a big deal. That is like not a little deal. That is like a big deal. Do you know if y'all have never been a part of a film or a production, a screen production? People think you just show up with a camera and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, nah, dogs. There are so many steps and so much that happens behind the scenes. It's absurd. So that is a huge. The fact that you just here and we're gonna do all the kind of the heavy lifting,
everything
for you. You know
everything. So
that's a big deal.
I submitted a measly PDF. You know, a short film that I wrote called The Swimmers.
It had the measles? No.
You know, well, but it's like
did the PITF have the measles?
I'm so amazed, like in the filmmaking process, how it goes from PDF to screen.
Yeah.
And like so many people touch it. And like when you watch the credits like roll, you're like, look at all these people.
So many names
involved.
So many names, and people love to scroll through the credits. Nah, you better stop that.
Recognize.
You better recognize those little
recognize
names.
Real, and I mean like the real. You have to recognize the real that has just been played.
Double entendre.
Okay, all day with the entendres. Yo, like so I submitted. And I was one of the 7 selected. Mm-hmm. And I remember the executive director of the National Hispanic Media Coalition, shout out to Brenda Castillo.
Shout out.
Called me and she's like, we loved your script for so many reasons. And one of them was because you told the story of infertility in the Latino community through the male lens. No pun intended.
I don't even think I knew that.
It? Yeah, because through my experience with infertility and miscarriage and IVF and everything I did to get pregnant, which I ended up getting pregnant the good old fashioned way. Shout out to semen.
Shout out to semen. Shout out,
I see you.
to the conception.
Exactly.
The conceptions, the conceptions.
Right. So she was just like, we loved how not only are you talking about a topic that isn't really spoken about, but men's feelings also aren't really spoken about. And through my experience, I saw my then partner also go through loss. And so often, you know, shout out to the men.
Shout out to the men.
Shout out to the men who are there.
I'm reluctant to shout
like,
y'all out, but shout out to the men. No, I'm just kidding.
We must.
I love the men. If I didn't love the men, I wouldn't need therapy.
Oh, gosh.
But I do love the men.
Well, like, shout out to their feelings too.
Yes.
And I felt like I wanted to touch on that because when a woman loses a baby, she is the vessel. Like, technically, she's losing the baby. I was the one in the emergency room miscarrying. I was the one bleeding and like going through a lot of mental anguish.
Yeah.
But,
and physical.
but truth be told, that baby was 50% his too.
Yeah.
So even though I'm the vessel that is bearing this, his emotions and all the men's emotions, I feel like must be taken into account. They're also experiencing this loss. I remember we lost a baby, and this made it to the swimmers, but this was truth. It was based on a true story, but I pulled out a Nick's outfit from the garbage, an infant Nick's outfit that I didn't buy, that he bought. But I can see and I can vision him so upset that he just threw out the outfit because the baby was no longer in me. Yeah. You know? So I'm like, oh, this is so deep right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's
but
a
I
loss.
didn't see those feelings. They were swept under the rug. And I'm like, okay, shout out to him for doing that for me, for the family, for us. But let's talk about it. Why? I performed a monologue at this event called Smoke Signals. Shout out to Led Black. He did sort of a Moth Stories thing. Oh. And I told the story of the swimmers, but like in monologue format.
Okay.
And I can't believe how many men, like thuggish men, came up to me after the show.
She had the hood in tears.
Yo, I had
She had the dudes with the beef and broccolis on, weeping, and the do-rags, weeping, leaking.
Like the Tims, the Hims, and the Tims, they were coming up to me, and they were just like, yo, wifey just went through something like that. Thank you for telling that story and, like, you know, incorporating my feelings. Or like, my cousin just went through something like that. Or like, my sister's going through something like that. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted from the film. So
you gave a voice to those, I don't want to say that they were voiceless, but they may have felt voiceless. And that is like so profound. And honestly, well, like one of the reasons that I do what I do. So I love that so much.
Thank you. So shout out to Cesar Carmona, who's the male actor in The Swimmers, who really, his performance was chilling to me because he got it. He got the memo. I wasn't on set for the shoot. I wasn't on set there while the film was being shot.
Was that did you have an option or no?
No, I didn't have an option.
Okay.
I mean,
Just
you know, it's all good. I was the writer, but I did get to work so I should go back. Like, part of the one of the benefits of working on this program with NHMC is they paired me up with a development executive from NBC who helped work my PDF into a film ready to be shot.
Yes.
My son's friends are FaceTiming me, so I'm just gonna. This is.
Oh yeah,
how involved
I got a little lesson in this, a little BTS in this before Rachel got here. Her son's friends like to FaceTime each other, and every so often they hit her up.
I'm like, okay, I know I'm a cool mom, but ain't nobody got time for that right now. I knew it was gonna happen during this recording.
8-year-olds be chatty too, so you need some time. You need to set aside some time for these little chatty.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Exactly, bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. So back to the swimmer. So I work with development executives to get it ready to be shot as a short film, and then they got Michael Martinez, who's a very successful TV director, to be the director on my film, and Ariana Sanchez, who's the female who plays Rosa in the film.
Okay.
And it can be seen now, although it's like got a little bit of a film festival circuit run. Not much.
Yes.
3 festivals. I'm like,
okay, that's a party.
It's a party. It was in Danny Hastings Festival. It was in the Dominican Film Festival. And now it's going to be in the Glass Ceiling Breakers Film Festival, which is an all-female festival. Ooh. My ovaries are like buzzing right now.
Yes.
And yes, those are my ovaries right now. How did you get the sound bite from my ovaries so fast?
The estrogen
Girls,
is on
calm
fleek.
down, please. That's exactly the sound that they make. They're like,
they told him.
Mm-hmm. Like, especially when they go get some, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the boyfriend. And yay! And so
they got picked up on the mic. That's all that was.
That was so crazy.
The
These
mic
are some
picked them
great
up.
mics you have. I didn't realize they can pick up ovary sounds.
We good out here.
Wow. Okay.
Don't sleep on Jersey.
You know what I'm saying? So, Glass Ceiling Breakers is an all-female film festival, and that's happening in Garrison, New York, June 14th, 15th, and 16th. So my film, The Swimmers, will be screened on the 15th at noon.
Okay.
So you can go to my Instagram page if you want more information, or go to Theater Revolution on Instagram for more info. Just being around, like yesterday they put out this collage of all the female filmmakers that are part of it. And I don't know about you, but like I always get like when you're on a flyer for HERlarious, you get that feeling of like, wow, look at all of us.
Yes, I do.
Look at all of us.
It's
we're
the best.
We're doing this.
It's the best. It's like, oh, there we go. Just our gaggle of giggles.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
But the film is also out there if anybody wants to see it on nhmcshowcase.org. So it's still up there. And I met so many wonderful people through
so they can view
program.
it on that site. They can actually view it on that site right now.
Yeah.
Go watch The Swimmers, y'all.
Yeah, you could see some videos that I made, a video from the director. Both actors put up like a testimonial video. All the credits are there. You know, my log line, a little synopsis. It's all there.
Amazing. Amazing. I love that so much. Well,
Thanks.
as all the listeners have listened this entire episode, you inspire me so much.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna shut this off because the kids want to talk to me. And
the kids are feeling chatty. Miss Rachel's busy. All right, Mama Loca is busy.
You know what I'm saying? Can I live a little? Dang.
Rachel, who is somebody that is inspiring you right now? Who is somebody that you're looking to for inspiration in this moment in time?
You know, in this fluctuates. This changes because I draw inspiration from, it can't just be one person. Like, you know, there's a lot of female comedians that I've definitely drawn inspiration from. I interviewed one of my sheroes the other day, Maya Rudolph.
I know. I listened to the episode. Natasha Lyonne, Maya Rudolph, and the showrunner.
Shiriko Dunlap.
That's what's the name of that show?
The Second Best Hospital in the Galaxy.
Is that out or not yet?
Yes, it's out. It's an animated series. It's so funny. But like, she's one of them. Amy Poehler, you know, Gilda Radner. There's so many in that comedian bucket,
right?
You know,
it doesn't have to be a comedian. It could be.
I'm going somewhere different with this.
Yes.
Like, and then there are days that my children inspire me. Like, Benjamin is so funny. Like, I don't understand like where he comes up with the stuff that he says.
You don't understand, really? You don't understand?
I guess it's the DNA. But he's 5.
He came out of you.
Like, yesterday we got off the train in Brooklyn and he was sleeping the whole train ride. And you know when you wake up, you're like, ugh, groggy. He's the one human that is not groggy when he wakes up. He woke up.
I need to have whatever he's having.
What the heck? He woke up not groggy, opened his eyes. He was like, Brooklyn, in the city that never sleeps. Who says that? I don't know. Okay. Anyway,
I love that.
So they sometimes inspire me. Well, a lot of times. But right now, if I say who is inspiring me at this current time, it is my parents. Like my mom and dad. Okay, a couple things. So I've taken a lot of time to interview them and to get their stories on my podcast mic. Shout out to the Yeti. I just want their stories before I can't hear them anymore.
Right.
My dad is 83. My mom is 77. And they have great stories, you know, of immigration, of interfaith and intercultural marriage when it wasn't accepted in 1967.
Because mommy is Dominican.
And dad is a descendant Eastern European Jew. Russia, Poland is a lot in the blood.
And your mom grew up Catholic?
Yes.
Okay.
And dad grew up Jewish. So like I wanted those stories just to have them. But now I'm feeling this, I guess I'll call it a healthy pressure to put something out there creatively that showcases their story. And they're really inspiring me to do that.
Love
you know,
that.
to work on a project that like just demonstrates their perseverance and their courage, but in modern day format. So if it's a podcast series or a book, or I'm still toying around with what that is, but their story, I really want to make them proud.
Yeah.
Like, I know I make them proud. They tell me, oh, we're proud of you, we're proud of you, we're proud of you. But like, I really want to make them proud.
Yeah, it sounds like you want to create like an artistic legacy in their honor. And that's
while they are here to see it and hear it.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Oh my gosh. Okay. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you is I'm all about being better, becoming better. How can we get 1% better every day? Right? So, you know, for some days, for me, it could be an action that makes me feel like I'm getting 1% better. It could be a phrase, a mantra, an adage. What is something, I'm gonna call it a God shot or a goddess shot or, you know, a Jah shot, depending on whatever entity you believe in, you know, the source. Some people like the source, the universe. I'm gonna call it a God shot. What is a God shot that you want to implement or that you want to encourage listeners to implement to become 1% better today?
I'll tell your listeners and viewers what I tell my children is that like acts of kindness go really far. You know, it's important to just showcase as many acts of kindness because you could do a lot in one day. Acts of kindness, I tell my kids, are helping each other out. You know, if Benjamin can't shut off his electronic toothbrush, Donovan, your fingers are stronger. Go in there, show him an act of kindness by helping him shut off his bluey toothbrush, you know, or like go to school and share something with somebody who may not have what you have, you know. But acts of kindness, I think in our industry too, they also go a long way. And acts of kindness could be reposting something or sharing or actually not just like, you know,
supporting the event, going to an event when you can. We know you can't always come,
but you can also talk about it, you know, when I'm
tell
not
your friends
in the room.
Tell
your friends. Like, we really need more acts of kindness in our circles, in our industry, because I feel like it's outweighed by the opposite, you know, with this crabs in a barrel mentality. And I think we are always talking about like, how can Latinos unite more? Acts of kindness and support, you'd be surprised how far that goes. So I think we can be 1% better, to answer your question, by just showcasing and demonstrating and displaying as many acts of kindness as possible. And I mean, also, not to dismiss that it comes back tenfold. Like, let's not forget about that. I mean, that's not very well the reason why we do it, but I think it would go a really long way and we'll see results.
Listen, if that's where somebody has to start, if that's where you have to start to be kind, just knowing that whatever energy you put out is going to eventually come back to you, that's not a bad place to start. But doing good just for the sake of doing good is incredible. I love that so much. And like, for me, on that note, the other day, I woke up like, I'm not really feeling myself today. So on those days, what I try to do is I make it a priority to find somebody to compliment, which is an act of kindness. It's, you know, so piggybacking off of you, I find that when I get the opportunity to compliment somebody and, you know, they're not expecting it, you know what I mean? I'm biased. I generally choose women to compliment. Because, you know, sometimes...
And that's okay. We need it. We welcome it.
Absolutely. We definitely need it. Because, you know, sometimes you can't take a compliment. Well, maybe I don't want your compliment. Because I don't know if your compliment has an ulterior motive, sir. But no, I do love going up to people, giving them a compliment on something. Because just seeing them smile like that, that can make your day. That can literally make your day. And I don't know. I've never gotten a negative reaction from telling somebody that I like their shoes. You know what I mean? I've never gotten a negative reaction from that. So, but it is interesting that you brought up the fact that we're in the industry that we're in, right? Because especially comedy, it can feel very self-centered, very self-serving. What we have to keep in mind too is that by showing up and being funny, like, we are offering something to others. You know, laughter is the best medicine. Then shoot, we all doctresses. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying, La Doctora.
Okay.
Got a prescription for laughter.
So that's something that I have to remind myself too. Because sometimes I do feel, I'm like, oh my God, me, my act, my show. Like, I don't like it. Because I thrive when I'm in an environment that I have something to offer other people. I thrive when I'm able and I have to show up for other people, you know, also with the teaching, personal training, all of that. If I'm not doing that, if I don't have the opportunity to show up for somebody else, that's when I start to get a little off center. And that's when I implement compliments and trying to put it all on the other person.
I love that. Quickly, I'll just say that often I check myself, you know, like when doing shows, I'm like, wait, why am I here?
Yeah.
I am not here to make money because I'm not making a lot of it. Okay?
No. Okay.
All right. I am here because one of the purposes of why I was put on this earth was to change mindsets in the positive direction.
Yes.
I chose comedy because that does it.
Right.
You can make someone's day go from bad to great, turning that frown upside down.
Yes.
How many people have reached out to you or after a show like, yo, I came here feeling not so good, but I'm leaving with endorphins. I'm gonna go get me some ass. You know, like whatever it is, like, you know, like that is so powerful. And look, all we did was tell a few jokes,
right?
Or dress up like an eggplant. Or
Jesus.
Jesus
and Mary.
Or throw on a wig or become a cat on stage. And it's just like so mutually beneficial. Because we go backstage and we're high-fiving each other. We're like, that was awesome. Like,
hell yeah,
you know
we did that. We killed that.
We did that. Like the cat sketch that we did, that was to me like the most fun I've had recently. Like,
I love that.
Being a cat on stage.
I love being animals on stage.
Oh my God.
It's the best.
It was perfect. You know,
I do.
Yeah.
I definitely
do. How, like, you can't go wrong with that, with something that's so mutually beneficial. Like, the audience is gaining and benefiting, and so am I as an individual and as this collective on stage.
Absolutely.
That's how I know, like, this is right. You
Hell
know?
yeah.
The bank accounts may not agree with me. You know what I'm saying?
The cortisol levels before a show may not agree. Like, literally, the first, like, the last like 5 to 10 minutes before I show, sometimes I'm like, why do I do this? Why do I do this? Why do I do this? Like, then, because also we care, right? We want to offer something great. We don't want, we're not half-assers. We are not half-assers, right?
Definitely
so
not.
we have the standards really high. We set expectations for ourselves that are very high, and that can be a little stressful. But then once we get on stage and we execute, and it's all done, and we could take that breath, and everybody had a blast, that's when I remember, this is why I do this. I do this for this moment. And you know what? We're going to be back same time next week. All right? Then we do it all over again.
Yay.
Rinse, wash, recycle. So on that note, Rachel, I have loved talking to you, as I always do.
Me too.
Let's let the people know where they can find you.
Sure. You can follow me at Rachel La Loca, RACHEL La Loca. You can also follow my podcast at We Are Latinos Out Loud. You can also give us a call, 978 Latinos, no big whoop. And check out the Glass Ceiling Breakers Festival coming up June 14th through the 16th in Garrison. And thank you so much for having me. I love talking to you. We talk all the time.
All the time.
And I really love it so much.
Me too.
I almost never want to hang up with you. It's like,
I know.
Can this just be the conversation that never ends?
Like the phone calls that we have give me like elementary school phone call days, you know, when you would just be on the phone for like 3 hours.
Club? Oh my God.
The only thing that we haven't done is like fall asleep on the phone together. That's like the only thing that we haven't done as far as being on the phone. And I love it because in this day and age, nobody want to be talking anymore. Everybody want to be text me. No, because the conversation that I could have with you that would take me all day to get through to you via text, I could just have right now in 20 seconds. So suck it. Anyway,
there are very few people that I talk on the phone with at this current stage in life, and maybe like 3 actually right now. It's like you. Shout out to my boyfriend, Eddie, and my mom. I mean, that's really it. Everybody else is like, why are you calling me and not texting? Are you for real right now?
I know.
Like,
people hate me for it. They hate me for it. But
I don't understand.
I am so honored that I am on your top 3.
I told you the other day, I was like, when you call, I will do everything I can to answer. And if I don't answer, that means I'm like maybe on the toilet or
you can pick up on the toilet. I don't
doing
care.
something. For real, do I have that?
You can. You absolutely have toilet.
You don't even know what you just opened up.
You have potty mouth, toilet talk privileges.
Like, you're okay with hearing things in the background?
I'm totally okay. Listen, it's
My
our instrument.
stream is deep.
It's our instrument. It's our instrument. It's just trying to make a song. It's just trying to create, make a song, put it out.
Okay.
But
that's all you got to say.
That's it.
I will always pick up pretty much.
Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned, maybe for a new segment developing, potty talk or whatever, potty mouth. I don't know. I got no idea. But Rachel has a lot to do today, and Alana J has a nap to probably take. But y'all know where I'm at, alanaj.tv, on the website, on the social medias, all of that. And without further ado, let's get out of here, huh? Mwah. Love you. Mean it.
Love you. Love you.